Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of RotoBaller Radio's Waiver Wire series. I'm your host, Anthony Aniano. Happy to be with you here today as we take a look at the Fantasy Baseball Waiver Wire hitters available for Week 16 of the Fantasy Baseball season, the week beginning Monday, July 10th. Now, be mindful of the fact that next week, check your league settings, see how they handle next week. There's no games Monday, July 10th. It's the first day of the All-Star break. Most games will resume that Friday, so there's going to be a long day off. So, see when your waiver wires run. Do they get extended towards the end of the week? Is it a wraparound week? Whatever it may be for this upcoming Fantasy Baseball week. Full disclosure, recording this Thursday, July 6th. So obviously numbers can change, stats, promotions, demotions, injuries can occur, so forth and so on by the time you get to watch this video. So be mindful of that. And as always, we use Yahoo roster percentages, trying to keep it 50% or less rostered, the players we mention on the list. Now, the big injury news of the week since we last spoke: Mike Trout out 4 to 8 weeks, surgery on the hand, the broken bone. So now we got to fix that, plug that hole in our lineup. And it's impossible to do, right? We're not getting Mike Trout numbers off the waiver wire. But we do have some outfielders, corner, some middle infielders as well to be mindful of. And it starts at the top. The number one ad, my priority ad of the week, Baltimore Oriole outfielder Colton Kapp, one of the top prospects in that Oriole organization. And they just keep bringing him up and bringing him up. And they keep winning and winning and winning. When you look at that Baltimore Oriole team, with Rushman, Henderson, Westberg last 2 weeks ago, and now Colton Kapp gets the call up. Hit 7th in his Major League debut on Wednesday, July 5th, so last night at the time of this recording. Went 1 for 3 with an RBI. I believe he played right field and should continue to see regular at-bats in that Baltimore outfield and in that Baltimore lineup going forward. A 2021 first-round pick by the Baltimore Orioles, drafted 5th overall just 2 years ago, and he's already at the big league level. On Yahoo, he's only 29% rostered, so be prepared for him maybe being available. He's available 70% of leagues, so maybe some 12-team, a lot of 10-team leagues. Colton Kapp is still out there and available, and he's my top ad if you've lost Mike Trout. At AAA this year, Colton Kapp was hitting .330, 10 homers, 40 RBIs, with a .459 on-base percentage and an elite level 996 OPS. Doesn't strike out a lot, 23% of the time, walks a ton, almost 19% of the time down at the AAA level, sprinkles in 7 stolen bases to go with those 10 home runs. All of this damage in 56 AAA games this year. Baltimore brings him up. Baltimore will get stronger, better, younger as they push for the second half of the season, and you can do the same with the addition of Colton Kapp. He is a high-cost fab player, and I would be willing to invest. Number 2, another outfielder and the direct replacement, really, for Mike Trout, Mickey Moniak of the Los Angeles Angels. Only 11% rostered. I'm a little surprised by that. Now, he's only got 9 at-bats all season against left-handed pitching. Okay, so be mindful of that. The lefty hitter really only faces righties. He was the 2006 first overall pick in the draft by the Philadelphia Phillies. On the season, Mickey Moniak is hitting .288 with 5 homers, 18 RBIs, 10 runs scored. On the season, at this moment on Thursday, he is hitting over 300, .303, with the .336 on-base percentage. A .967 OPS for the Angels outfielder. Again, over 800 is a number. I love Mickey Moniak sitting at .967. 2 stolen bases, 9 home runs, 25 RBIs, 19 runs scored. Now, the biggest issue I have with him, even though he bats leadoff for the Angels when he does play, he doesn't walk enough, only 3%, and he strikes out a lot, 32% of the time. But this is a crowded Angel outfield, or was, when you consider Tyler Ward, Mike Trout, Hunter Renfroe. With Trout out, at-bats now open up, a little bit at least, for Mickey Moniak, and he's only 11% rostered, making him 89% available. Now, pairing him up, my number 3 ad, and this one's a little tricky, I'm not denying that, is Joe Adell of the Los Angeles Angels. Now, where do the at-bats come from? That becomes the question. Right now, the common thought was he'll be platooning with Mickey Moniak. So maybe you want Joe Adell more in a daily lineup setting than a weekly lineup setting. But then when he gets called up, he on the 4th was his return. He had one game before when Hunter Renfroe went out with a paternity leave, played one game then, went back to the minors, came up on the 4th of July, went 1-for-1. Then got the start on the 5th, but got the start in left field. Taylor Ward got the day off. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Angels get Joe Adell into the mix. Is he a strict platoon partner with Mickey Moniak? Do they move pieces around? Do they rotate which outfielder? Hunter Renfroe, Ward, Moniak. There's 4 for 3 spots there. Do they figure out a way to get them all significant at-bats? In 3 games, only 3 at the Major League level, Joe Adell has a homer and 3 RBIs. Since July 4th, I believe he's 2 for 5 since his recall over the last 2 days. At AAA this year, he's completely dominating, and that's the problem with Joe Adell. Is he too good for AAA? Yes. Is he good enough for the major leagues? Well, we've seen samples where he wasn't. Is it his time now? And it's got to be. Otherwise, he's going to be that quad A, that 4A type of player. 271 this year at AAA with 23 home runs, 55 RBIs, 59 runs scored, and 9 stolen bases. A 376 on-base percentage and a 956 OPS at AAA. Joe Adell has nothing left to prove at AAA. Problem with Joe Adell, he has a lot to prove at the Major League level. Down in AAA, he walked plenty 12.5% of the time, struck out almost 27% of the time. Now, Joe Adell is only 7% rostered on Yahoo, making him 93% available. I would rather him on my roster for at least the next couple of weeks after the All-Star break, see what type of playing time he gets, see what amount of production he gives you over the next, let's call it 2-3 weeks once the All-Star break passes, filling in as part of a rotation, potentially replacing Mike Trout. If it doesn't work, we drop, we don't overspend. But at only 7% roster, Joe Adell is worth a flyer. Now, if you need middle infield or corner infield help, Maikel Garcia of the Kansas City Royals, the 66th ranked prospect in all of baseball, according to Fangraphs, the Kansas City Royals' #1 overall prospect. Shortstop, third base eligible, terrific start to his season, his rookie year, 23 years old, hitting first in that Kansas City Royal lineup now. Over the last 14 days, hitting .340, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, 8 runs scored, 6 stolen bases. On the season, the batting average is .296, 3 homers, 21 RBIs, and 13 steals. Walks little over 7% of the time, strikes out about 22.5% of the time. He's got a .347 on base percentage, which you love for your leadoff hitter with speed, and an OPS of .750. Maikel Garcia, you've got a hitter right around 300, stealing bases, batting leadoff, and he's only rostered in 47% of Yahoo leagues. In deeper formats, he's already on teams. I understand that shallower formats, Maikel Garcia should be available. He's available in 53% of Yahoo leagues. He sits as my #4 ad and would be higher on the list if it weren't for trying to make up potentially for a Mike Trout injury, pushing the 3 outfielders to the top of my list. And my #5 and final ad of the week, if you need a corner infielder, Jeimer Candelario of the Washington Nationals, 38% rostered. Over the last 14 days, hitting .292, 4 homers, 8 RBIs, 12 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, hitting third in that Nationals lineup. On the season, the batting average is up to .261 with a .338 on-base percentage and an .816 OPS. Again, over 800 OPS. I am interested. Now, what's interesting about Candelario, he's on pace for a career high in home runs and RBIs, 12 home runs at the halfway point with 40 RBIs. He's never hit more than 16 homers. He's on a pace to be on the right side of 20. He's never had over 80 RBIs. He's on that pace as well. Walks plenty, 8.6% of the time, and doesn't strike out much, only about 20% of the time for Candelario. And he's only rostered 38% of leagues, making him available in 62% of leagues. So, to recap, my top 5 hitters to add for Week 16, the week beginning July 10th, or really that Friday after that because of the All-Star break. My top 5 ads. #1, Colton Kapp, 29% rostered outfielder, Baltimore Orioles. Number 2, Mickey Moniak, outfielder, Los Angeles Angels, 11% rostered. Number 3, Joe Adell, also of the Angels, 7% rostered. Number 4, Michael Garcia, shortstop, third base eligible, Kansas City Royals, 47% rostered. And number 5, Heimer Candelario, Washington Nationals, third baseman, corner infield, 38% rostered. As always, everybody, thanks for watching. Head over to rotoballer.com. Sign up now for whether it's the baseball or football premium pass. Team Sync Tools, lineup optimizers, you name it. Use the promotional code ACES and save at checkout. Give me a follow on Twitter at @Aniano Fantasy. Like and subscribe right here to the RotoBaller YouTube channel and download the app. It's free, so take advantage of that as well. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here on RotoBaller Radio.